Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here. All right. This is going to be parts of my new book. It was put out a little while ago, The True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization. All right. I'm not releasing this for any other reason than for the souls that are trapped here in the lies, the stories, all the false truth that's given to them. All right. Now, I'm basing this on my life experience, my past lives experiences, and I put my life on the line for this one. I am only accountable to God. So this one would be accountable by what I say in this workshop today. Greetings. If you need a link to come on, I will put it up in the chat room. Let me just put it up there right now. All right. Okay, this is going to be hardcore, especially if you're a full-fledged Christian or a religious person and you believe the stories you're told. All right, I'm putting this out there now. All right, my book's been out for a little while. You can buy it on eBay, Facebook, any of those places that have them out there. People are selling them, but it's important right now because of what's going on in the world. So I don't know how to, I got my chat room there. How do I get rid of it? Sorry, hold on. I don't know why it's there. Okay, sorry about that. Again, I will get going here. All right. Here's the thing. There's so many stories coming from different levels of awareness, from different kind of people. I mean, from alien technology, people communicating with them, supposedly what they hear and say, different religions, from dreams, visions, stories, handed down stories. But I'm going to give you the facts. You don't have to accept one thing I'm saying. All I can do is give you the truth. It's up to you to do whatever you want with it. But think about it. All right, let's start with, where was Jesus born? On planet Earth. Where was he actually born? In a cave. All right. Now, some people might say, oh, no. I'm not doing this to argue with anybody. I'm just giving you the truth. Where he was, what happened, what was going on, and all those kind of things. All right. He wasn't born in a stable. All right. His childhood is very little unknown to most people and all the people that wrote about him. I'm not going to give my story away until near the end. But here's the thing. When he grew up, he disappeared for a period of time. Nobody knows much about that either. I mean, it's been proven or disproven this way or that way, that it was 3 days, 3 years, or 14 days, 16 days. I mean, everybody has different numbers now, or whether it was real. And then, sure, you got all the other people saying Jesus wasn't even real. That is your choice, to believe in Jesus or not. I'm going to tell you straight out, he was the most spiritual person to ever walk this planet. Now, you can say this person and that person. Really? Did they have any of the abilities that Jesus had? Second of all, Jesus never said he was God. Ever. From the time he was born to the time he was killed, he never said, I am God. There's one sentence in the Bible that kind of makes it sound like he said that, but it's a lie. We'll get into that. All right. Now, the other story is how he was born. He had 2 brothers. And we're talking about a long time ago. Now, men had control over everything, especially sex. All right. Drinking, partying, forced sex, dreams, wild person sleeping, all those kind of things happened. So I'm not even going to get into that part of it because it's not provable in any which way. Immaculate conception is an idea, unprovable, especially from the time frame when it happened. All right. So, was Jesus born of a Virgin Mary? Of course not. Is it provable? Let me explain this. The Hasidic Jewish religion today, even though they deny it greatly now, kind of said they phased it out, a woman has to be a virgin to get married. All right. Now, how will we find out if a woman's a virgin? Well, it's done in the temple, and it's done by the rabbi. For real, people, I'm not making this up. Now, men don't have to prove anything, all right? Which is the biggest lie, because they're more perverted and corrupted than the women are. So then what? After she's proven to be a virgin, she is no longer a virgin, people. I hope you understand that. And that's how the Hasidic Jewish religion is based on for a long time. All right. Now, here, the thing. If I was a man, would I let a rabbi do that? I would not. And if you give your rights over as being a man in a relationship with a person to somebody else, you don't follow a real God. Sorry, if you understand God, which we're going to get into in detail because nobody knows anything about it. And a man talks about religion. What do they know about religion? What the Bible says. What does the Bible know about religion? What a few people said. What do those people know about the Bible? What they created in their mind. What they transformed and transposed from what they thought they heard and believed. All right. Now, in those days, people drank. They dreamed a lot. Who knows what kind of drugs they had, which they did have. All right. So I don't want to get into that. But as Jesus started growing up, when he was young, his parents, he was a carpenter and he was learning. But there was a time when he became aware, people, no other word, aware. He had to leave. He left. The time he left is deniable, provable by different people. Everybody has their ideas, concepts, where he went, what he did, and what happened during that time frame. I will tell you the truth about it. If you really want the truth, people, do you? Or you want to live in cloud nine, fantasy land, and tell yourself dreams of delusions of whatever you feel it should be. All right. When he disappeared for a few years, it was many years, but when he disappeared, no one can prove what he did, where he went. Well, there's a few people on the planet that know what happened. A very few people know what happened when he did. Now, here's the thing that's going to upset so many people. All right. You know, and I'm not doing this in a really bad way, or trying to do it in a bad way. I'm trying to just give you the truth. All right. On this planet, we got a lot of speakers out there, new age speakers, spiritual speakers, whatever words you want to give them. Even in the UFO world, they're talking about Jesus and talking about things they should not be doing. But then again, if a person has a great dream and it sounds great, they can make money off of it. I'm not trying to make money off. I am not trying to make money off of this, just so you know. All right, just checking. All right. Here's the thing. Okay, when he came back, something was different about him. Does anybody have a clue what that was? Other than he radiated light out of his eyes beyond anybody else walking this planet. When he walked the streets, children would run to him. They would feel his energy from blocks away and knew he was coming. Adults are a little more closed off, or a lot more closed off. All right? But children weren't. I mean, one person wrote something about Jesus, a book and stuff, and said children never went to Jesus. Where was he? Because he wasn't there, and he doesn't know the truth. People love to talk about Jesus, and they don't know a thing about him. Oh, the Bible said this. And what did the Bible say? What some person wrote? All right, we're going to get into that as well. All right, he did something that many people today are claiming they're doing. All right, in the UFO world, in the religious world, in the spiritual world. The word is a simple word. It's called ascension. 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 I am not talking about ascending. Ascending. Two separate words, completely different meanings. And the people in the UFO world that are trying to teach ascension are delusional. I'm sorry, people. I'm dealing with the truth. I'm not dealing with lies. I'm not dealing with storytellers. I'm not going to tell their story. I'm giving you the truth. I'm under God. I'm responsible to God. Whatever I do, say, is part of what I get responsible for when I die or while I'm living even. And I'm not going to give you shit. I'm not going to give you baloney. I'm going to give you the ultimate truth. You don't have to accept it, and you probably won't. You're already mind programmed to believe a bunch of stupid little lies. All right. Now, since he was going to ascension, and he did, and he came back, and he was radiating this beautiful energy, what do you think happened? There's one thing that always happens with power and energy and all those kind of words. Fear. People in power suddenly created this fear within their own people, within themselves. All right? But, okay, Jesus went through ascension. And I'll give you a simple scenario how you can. It's a technique which is based out of a pyramid, and it doesn't have to be physical. I know that might be a little hard to understand, but it's a technique going through the pyramid, through the point, into the astral plane, up into the highest level, where you're given 32 gifts of God, and they're called the psychic gifts of God. And they don't talk about that much either. Now, Jesus had them all. He used them. He could use every one of them 100%. Not like any other person living on this planet right now that could barely use them. Oh, I'm a healer. I could do all these things. What can they do? How much can they do in front of people? Nothing. Or very, very little. They can't call a second out before it happens. Well, maybe in the future. They can't call it out directly. And they can't describe it in detail. I mean, sure, I know one of the top psychics in the United States. He was in jail. They tried to kill him, and he's back out right now. He prophesied 9/11 1 year before it happened in detail. I'm not going to go into the details about that, but he did it, and he put it out there. And 2 other people supposedly did it as well. But did anybody follow through? Did anybody listen? Did anybody that claimed to say it do anything about it? See, prophecies aren't useful if they're not guided and directed and reciprocated on by doing whatever it's supposed to be happening to protect it from happening. There's no sense giving a prophecy to the world that you're all going to fall off the ladder or fall down into the dungeon or stupid things. But if you listen and if you open your eyes, your mind, your ears, and you might hear something important. Okay, these gifts Jesus was given was gifts that nobody on this planet ever used. Ever. I mean, we could go back to the storyland of different stories of different aliens, but I don't want to go there. All right? Here's the thing. When we go back in time, we got more stories from different entities writing stories, different kind of people writing stories. All right? Is any of it going to help you today? Is any going to help you survive tomorrow? Is one alien race going to give you something that will protect you from a tornado, a storm, the house burning down, the forest burning down? Are they going to help you? All right. Well, Jesus was one of the only people at that time, and I'm not saying it happened any time after that, other than 2 of his disciples, healed a dead person. All right. Now, when I say that, it's like nobody that claims to be psychic can do that. And I mean, in India, there's a lot of psychics claiming to do a lot of things. and they're proven wrong all the time. Now, when these people in the UFO world claim things, what are they basing it on? Do they have any awareness of what they're even talking about? I just want to see if somebody's texting me here. Sorry. All right. Let me try. I got to put this link back up again. Hold on. Let me just try this. Okay, I'm putting them right back in the chat room, and this is for people that are invited in. If that doesn't work, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I put the link again in, so try it. All right. Now, getting back to where I wasn't. All right. These gifts that Jesus had, he never abused them. He never used all of them. Why? He had a mission. He had his truth. He had his ideas of what he had to do, which he did. He followed through. All right. Nobody has any other mission. Let me bring this person in. Greetings. How are you?
Hey, Tommy. Yeah, this link works, so that's good.
Okay, cool. You're in there. You got questions? Just go ahead.
No,
all right.
Copy that. Yeah, just wanted to be in here because I love the episodes you do that are hardcore, in your face truth. So
okay, all right. I'm glad you're here. So here's the thing, people. When Jesus uses his psychic abilities, he never abused them in any way. Not for any reason. He could have saved his life. He could have saved everything that went down. He could have changed everything, but he didn't. He wasn't here to change the world. People, he didn't come here to change everybody. The same as I'm not trying to help everybody on this planet. There's only a few souls that I feel that I can help because there are the very few souls that want to move forward, want to get out of the garbage and the programmed ideas that they're locked into, which I'm going to get into. If you got the balls to stick through this workshop, whatever you want to call it, you'll hear things that you might not have ever heard of. Jesus was talking to simple-minded people, meaning they were farmers, fishermen, no schooling, no writing, nothing. So what kind of words could he use to these people? What did they understand? They didn't understand the word God. All right, do you understand that? They didn't know what God was. They knew what power was. The people in power proved that. They put their statues there, and they believed that because they were in power. And if they didn't, they were killed. Plain and simple.
Well, and even when I tell people that, they still revert back to their brainwashing and continue to research and to read false, writings.
Writings are set down in ink. They're down written, period. They're not going to change. So when you're trying to find a story, you're going to get the same story that's been there, programmed for many thousands. It's 200. What is it? 2,000 years. All right. It's the same story you're going to read, no matter who's writing, who's twisting it, unless somebody says, well, Jesus was an alien and he brought down whatever. Okay. You can hear other stuff added to that. But let's stick with the truth, people, which is all I can do. Jesus was considered powerful. All the high people suddenly realize he is a danger to them. All the priesthoods worried about their power because they didn't have any. They were following religions of a man-made idea. All right. So let's move forward. Okay, when he became powerful and started walking through the streets and working with people, it traveled the land and everybody heard it and knew it. The fear grew and grew. Well, people of I'm not going to say religion, because Jesus did not come here to teach a religion. He didn't say, I'm going to teach Christianity. I'm going to teach this or that. He did not. He had a specific teaching, people, and it's not in the Bible. Do you understand that? And I'm going to get into that. If you can listen, you will learn something. And I promise you that. Yes, Jesus was powerful. More powerful than anybody else on the planet. But he wasn't God and he wasn't an alien. It was through ascension when he left his body and was given the powers. And you're not allowed to go through it until you're ready and you vibrate at a certain vibration, and then God allows the angels to work with you and bring you there.
Is that when he used the pyramid systems to do that?
Not that a lot of the people in the pyramid time frames use it, because they couldn't. They didn't know how to use the pyramids then. And to think we could learn how to use them now? I mean, exactly. Using power and energy as a weapon. Wow, we learned how to fight with psychic superpowers? No, they learned how to fight with weapons. But so what? It's not helping us. Tesla brought that knowledge back to us, which we did not need. All right. Let me just bring you up to par. Children, when they went running to him, looked into his eyes. They were enlightened just by looking into his eyes. They were open to it.
Do most people even understand why?
No.
Of course not. That's the sad part.
People don't understand much about, love and light. Go through the light. Light is just a gateway. And when you go through the light, if you go through the light around Jesus, you go into his eyes, you go into his soul, and then you experience something you will never experience any other way. Mm-hmm. All right. Jesus used words to these people of the time. He couldn't use God. He couldn't use realms. They didn't know what realms were. Different realms. What's that mean? So what words did he use? Father. Everybody understood the word Father.
Well, yeah, he had to talk in parables to make those people, that weren't too smart back in the day, even understand what soul was.
Exactly. And when he went further, all right, when he talked about God's world, which is very limited in the Bible, it's only like 2 sentences long, where God, it's explained about God's worlds. Jesus says it, but how does he relate to it? He says, in my Father's mansion is many rooms. So to people, I don't know what they think, the bedroom, the bathroom, the living room, the kitchen. I mean, they sure don't understand the realms of the places that soul goes through when it starts unfolding.
Well, see,
Jesus was teaching that, people.
Yeah. I understand why people have to complicate things. They think Jesus spoke in parables for some kind of complex and important reason. It wasn't that at all. He tried to keep it simple, folks.
All right. Now here, the words he used were simple. All right. He never used the word love. He created it, people. Love did not exist before that, people. And it's not like he says, I'm pulling love out of the hat and teaching everybody love. No, you can't teach love. You can only experience it. And his disciples experienced it because his love for Mary Magdalene. And that love was probably the strongest love on the planet at that time. That's for sure.
Funny how all the books and scriptures kept the women in the background.
Well, everything in history kept women as slaves and sex objects and everything else other than an equal spiritual being. All right. Now, Mary Magdalene did get pregnant, and she did have a daughter. Jesus was killed before the daughter was born. So he never saw his daughter in the physical reality. When he came back, he did, but not in his physical body. All right. But the disciples saw it. They saw how he related to her. And suddenly he respects a woman, which nobody did. And that's the saddest part. People in the Bible don't even understand that wrote anything in the Bible. They were just learning about these words that we'll get into. All right. Okay, understanding evil. Did they know what evil was? All right. Many people didn't even consider the idea evil existed. All right. Now, when Jesus was teaching his disciples, and they left him. If they were caught doing what Jesus taught them, they were killed. So they constantly were trying to wipe out what Jesus was teaching. That's why there's not much about what Jesus was teaching. Sure, when he went out into the fields with thousands and thousands of people standing there, he had to speak to them very simple because he wasn't teaching them.
Was that primarily due to Satan's uh, work at that time?
Well, Satan wasn't really attacking Jesus.
Okay.
All right. Now, God's reason for Satan is a different reason. Nobody even understands that. Satan's here for one reason: to keep souls that belong here. Simple. It's not complicated. Jesus isn't, Satan's the most evil. And Satan ain't and Lucifer's son. No, he is not. Now, you can hear all these stories. This guy's that guy. They passed down, came back as this, and came back. No, you don't come back as somebody. All right. You're usually the best you are. And when you're at that state, you usually don't have to come back here. Unless you're evil.
Well, again, you can attribute that to the brainwashing.
All those kind of words that go down. All right. Now, I described this the same way that what the British, English, and Spanish did to the native people when they came here. They killed them all. All right? They were afraid. They called them demons. They called them redskin because it related to the devil. A perverted, twisted idea of negativity. All right? Which they forced upon them. The same as Moses did when he came off the mountain. These demons have to be killed. So I had 3,000 of them killed. So, what people do when they're given a little bit of truth is mind-boggling. But they'd rather listen to the lies and keep going in the lies than find the truth to get out of it. All right, look, people, I know you might not believe every word I say. You might not believe any words I say. But your soul will hear it. Not your mind. Your mind's a programmed robot machine. Soul is not. Soul will hear it, and it can do something with that.
That reminds me the one time I had you come on with some friends of mine and speak the truth. And afterwards, one of my friends says, I don't know why, but after hearing Tommy, I started crying for no reason. I have no idea. Well, I explained to him that's because your soul, recognized the truth, and it was, that's why.
Okay, the word that's pretty critical nowadays is called soul travel. All right, being able to travel in your soul body into the inner worlds. All right, once you attain a certain level, you can go past the astral plane, which is really critical. But let's stick to the part, okay, when the body dies, soul steps out of it. And the old saying, you go to heaven. The Christians came up with, they met St. Peter and St. Peter kicked him out. Stories like that. St. Peter isn't a god, never was. He's not there judging the people. You can work with him, but he's not God. He's not an angel. He's not a deity. All right. When we talk about realms, when God started opening these realms for these different souls to go into, he made sure that they were pure. Every realm beyond the astral plane is a pure consciousness, vibration, energy, light that everybody can go into and maintain that without being worried about anything negative or all those kind of words happening, because it doesn't exist there no more. Now, the gods are different on the top of the astral plane than God itself. Jehovah, Satnam, Brahm, and Lucifer all control the gate. They watch every soul that's going to try to go through it to get past them. All souls go to the astral plane when they die, unless they stay here. I'm not talking about ghosts and spirits that get stuck here. I'm talking about ones that are able to leave this realm to go into the next, which is called the astral plane, not heaven. All right? So when you get there, if you don't know what you're doing, you don't get to stay there for a long period of time, and you reincarnate. Jesus talked about reincarnation, people. They didn't put that in the Bible, did they? They didn't put a lot of what Jesus was teaching because they didn't understand it. They
Mhm.
didn't believe it, they didn't know it, and they didn't want to write about it. Why do you think many people who were following Jesus helped kill him in the end? Because they didn't understand him. If you're listening to the most spiritual person and they're talking about something you don't understand, they're not spiritual to you. Considering you don't know what the word spiritual even means, but when you say, well, he's not spiritual, what's
Most people,
spiritual mean? Beating your wife and controlling your wife? That's a spiritual person in those days?
most people say that without even understanding.
Exactly. Now, when it came to killing Jesus, he had very few followers that even believed him now at that point. A few were ready to give their lives for a short period of time. Then later on, when they thought they could be killed, they all lied about it. I told myself I will never lie about something like that because if I do, I'm lying to myself and I'm lying to God. I had a tattoo put on my arm way back when for a religion I was in, but I grew much further than that. So I put an eagle over it. But here's the thing: I said if my mind and my voice lies to me, I'll have a tattoo on my arm that'll say what I believe. Uh, it's not what I believe anymore. So, but again, uh, I put my life on the line now, and I'm doing it until I die. I'm going to go against anybody that wants to challenge me, anytime, any place, anywhere. And I put that out all the time in the UFO world, what aliens are, who they think they are, how good they are, and all those kind of things. I'm a rebel, people, but I only can deal with the truth, and I cannot deal with lies.
I was going to say, with the amount of people with the sick programming out there, you certainly have your work cut out for you.
Well, I'm not dealing with 8 billion people.
Hmm.
How many people want the truth?
Not many.
Half of those, 90% of the planet starving, homeless, being abused. They can't think of anything other than their dinner. Never mind God and heaven and being holy or any kind of words, what they want to hear or something. Look at the Buddhists. They pray 8 hours a day. And look what happened to Tibet. I mean, you think praying is the answer, which we'll get into. I'm taking my time. I'm going to try to get through as much as I can today. But here's the thing, people. Praying without action is useless, in case you didn't know that. You can pray for a job, but if you don't go out and look for it, it's not going to pop in your hand. You pray for money. If you don't do something, it's not going to get there. Action is required on this planet. I mean, you hear about llamas going into a cave for 40 years and things like that. What are they doing for mankind? They could believe that and tell themselves anything they want. When they come out, they don't even know what the world is like. 40 years, you went from a little battery operated crystal radio or a crystal radio to TV and computers. It's a big difference. 25 years is a leap in science and technology. 40 years is an incredible change in reality. So
Hmm.
sitting in a cave, praying and doing whatever you think you're doing, yeah, you could be in bliss in your own little mind. Are you helping the world in any way that you're a part of at that time? When you leave this world, you leave your abilities that you have to help this world because now you're somewhere else. When you go to the astral plane, people, you're not going to see your family and sit there and have dinner with them and hang out for the rest of your life, for eternity. And you don't
Yeah,
stay in the astral plane for eternity.
people ask me, and then I tell them, well, which family? From which life?
You know, I have to remind people, well, this family, I'm going to meet this family. What about all the families you said you loved and had children with in all these lifetimes? They're all useless now? It's like I got a new girlfriend. I forget all my old girlfriends. That's the way people are. They don't want the truth. But those souls don't stay there, people. Many, many, many people reincarnate, more so than that stay there. And that's why the number they don't get to stay there. The average year, the max of time that they can stay there, I would say, is roughly about 10 years. And then they reincarnate. I know where my mother went, where she reincarnated back to. I did a lot of work that I didn't know what I was doing when I did it. I let spirit guide me, always. When you do things right. When you don't, you do things wrong. Oh, there's no right and wrong. Oh, I have to learn. You don't have to learn to do every stupid thing on this planet.
Mhm.
You don't need to stick your hand in the fire 1,000 times to realize that it's hot and it can burn you. You reincarnate over and over and you still stick your hand in the fire. Oh, that's hot. Why? You didn't learn. Soul can learn. Mind cannot. When soul has to follow the brain, it doesn't become an aware being. Even though these people, I went through ascension. I'm an aware. Of what? You don't know what the word spiritual means. Never mind what the word ascension means. And you're spiritual? What's it mean? I ask people to say, well, what? Oh, I give money to a charity. I help people when I can. I mean, what's spiritual to these people? No, people, that is not what it means. Soul comes here for one reason, people. Only one. Not to be a shoe shine man, to be a drunk, to be a bartender. No, they are not scenarios of where we should be going, period. But the truth is, the only reason why you're here in hell is to realize why you're here and why you don't need to stay here. You need to grow spiritually in your spiritual awareness of God, light and sound, the inner worlds, angels, deities, all those things that do not play house in this land. Satan's the only one that likes staying here because he likes playing with people. And sadly, people like to play with him.
Well, yeah, and that's why he tries so hard to keep as many souls down here.
Well, he would be lonely if we all left. So, I mean, he doesn't want everybody to leave. Of course not.
Right.
So, when we think about followers, Jesus had followers, not a real lot, not at that time. I mean, people say they did and this, that, and everything, but when it came time to prove it and stuff, they did not. It's sad because, somebody with his abilities and what he brought would have changed reality completely if anybody listened. Anybody! All right, the idea we're going to get into. All right, and I got to do this because, man, I can't get through this here. All right, when Jesus came to his people and he was teaching them, what he was teaching them, all right, it was not about forgiveness.
Love.
No, skip the word love. It was not about forgiveness. It wasn't about being forgiven. He didn't get on a cross to die for your soul. You'd think Jesus needed to take all these losers' karma and get rid of it for them? Do you know what Jesus said to his people when he healed them, when he worked on them, when he met with them? He said to them, go out and sin no more. Sin no more. That means don't ever do it again. Once you realize there's a God, you have God above you. And if you know that, you cannot sin. So all these people, and then they go out and do whatever they want. Anyway, and then, well, God's going to forgive me. Jesus will forgive me. Let's do 1,000 Hail Marys. Hail Mary! And which Mary are you hailing to?
Which is unfortunately most of the population's thinking right now.
Right. Well, Christianity, that's like 2.5 billion people. All right.
I think it's okay just to commit sin and then on Sunday, oh, they're forgiven. No, that's not how that works.
Okay. People talk about God. They talk about Jesus like they know him. Like he's standing there. Oh, I'll watch you. I'll protect you. If you did something, I'll forgive you. Why? All right. I'm losing where I want to go, but I got a few things that I have to put into this. All right. What did Jesus do in his time off? In his time off, which he did have. He was with Mary Magdalene on his time off, just so you know, people. I was there. I saw it. I got to be with him. I was a female. He was teaching Mary. He gave her his abilities, all of them. He knew he was dying or going to be killed. Somebody had to finish teaching his followers. And who do you think it was? That's in the Bible, but the Bible doesn't recognize it as anything important.
Yeah, they're
Mary
not
Magdalene had to
listening.
teach Peter,
Hmm.
the doubter who wouldn't believe in a woman. So guess what? That was the giant step of learning about women. And it had to be broken because men still didn't respect women ever. And they don't realize that today. I mean, Jesus was not prejudiced. He didn't just heal men. He didn't go around just picking out the boys and things like that. And they make it sound that way. I mean, he healed poor people. He brought poor people back from the dead. Lazarus came out of the cave, was dead. I mean, what he did, nobody else did. Two of his disciples did later on, but they were taught by Mary Magdalene. So she had to have the ability to teach them what they needed to learn. And she was one of the few that survived and left the United States, left the country to
Yeah.
go to other worlds, like to France and everybody else. And then Thomas went to India. That's where you hear the second story. Jesus was in India too. No, he wasn't. In those days, you didn't have a name badge and a proof of ID and everything. He wore a robe. He had long hair. He was Jesus because he was teaching Jesus's teachings.
Yeah.
People, you want the truth. You want to live in the lies of what Jesus did, who he was, where he came from, why he was here, why he had to die. Now, I'm going to skip a lot of stuff. All right. But here's the thing. Why did Jesus have to die? For your sins. Are you that ignorant?
That's what
No.
most people's answers would be, yes.
It's not. He didn't need to take all these slimy peasants and people that were killing, murdering, raping, and doing all horrible things and forgive them?
Hmm.
Why, they would do it again. Did you hear him say, do not sin no more? If you find God, you don't need anything else. You don't need anything else, including money. All right. But these people weren't listening. Why? Because Mr. Satan's here. Well, what do you want? I'll give you something better. And those people would rather have something better in the physical. God gives things spiritually. God doesn't give us things physically. When people ask God for money, for fame, for jobs and healing and all that, God doesn't do that. God doesn't need to. You're in hell. Why should he do anything for you? Do you deserve one thing from God, really? What did you ever do in your life worthy of God? Name it. Oh, I picked up a child that fell on the ground. Oh, I saved a person from a fire burning. Oh, so you're God now? You're godlike? You're spiritual because you did that? What'd you do the next day? Go out and get drunk? Shoot up? What's the story of your life? What makes you a spiritual person? Nothing. So these people claiming to be one with now and oneness and all that, and be a six-dimensional self and all that, you are who you are. You will never change in this reality.
Hmm.
You're a soul, but you're not connected to this body permanently. The body is not you. The mind is not you. You don't have to take your mind with you, but people do. And then they have to reincarnate. I'm not going to go into that in detail, but that's how simple it is. Now, think about all the rich and famous people on the planet. Spending money, wasting money. What are they doing? And they still could say they're spiritual, including Oprah, people. I've been trying to get in touch with her 25 years. Anybody got any clout? Tell her I need to talk to her. She claims she has no karma. She claims she has no ego. Oh, really?
That's funny because the very contradiction of her being here means she's got some.
She was sexually abused when she was little. It affected her greatly. Why her relationships never turned out. Why she always overweight, ate, and things like that. She has problems inside herself.
Mm-hmm.
But she hangs out with Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle, the people that live in the moment, live in the now. You're everything you could be in art. No, you're not. You're not aware of God. You're useless to God. You believe in aliens more than God, so fly around in the in spaceships and go to their planet if you think. What do you think they want you for? You think you have something to offer them? other than a nice meal? Seriously, a sperm bank? What do you think you have to offer any alien race? They're giving us technology, what? To destroy the planet. We haven't did anything important in 2,000 years to make the world move forward spiritually in any way. Does that sound pathetic? Well, let's go further. Just before 2,000 years ago, before Jesus came here, for 30,000 years we didn't do anything. And that should even be more sickening. We live by the control of alien technology and beliefs and power and all that, thinking they're gods and everything else. Really? They still want to fight over the pyramids. I think you should be fighting over God, not a pyramid. All right? But you want to live in hell. You like it here. You're in the matrix. You can stay in the matrix. It might turn you on for a long period of time. Come back, have sex, children, kill people, and come back and do it all over again. How great is that? The Pope's one of the most evil people in religion, destroying the Catholic religion. Most of the Catholics even know it now or can see it. And that's pretty sad. People, time's running out. We're coming near end times. Now, I want to get into this real fast too. Revelations is the last part of the Bible. It was written by John. St. John. All right? I won't say I agree with everything he said in that. But he had his prophecy. He had his truth. He was right on about most everything there. Like how things are going to change, what's happening, what's going to destroy the world. But he put something incredibly important that I think 1 out of a billion people read. The part where John talks about what sins can't be forgiven. If you're a Christian, go to Revelations. It's short. Mm-hmm. If you're that, find what he said. And you'll be surprised that all the times you went for asking for forgiveness, it's not one of them. You can't ask for forgiveness for that. Don't think you can kill somebody and go to God and say, forgive me. Go to a priest, minister, rabbi, whatever. Not a rabbi, but and think you can get forgiven? And they're going to forgive you? Even if they did, so what? When you leave this body, you got higher things to face. Much higher than anybody on this planet or any alien race that's going to tell you anything of their baloney stories. All right, now I have to say this every time I talk because it's the most important sentence for rich people. All right, the rich people control the world always. So poor people are always slaves to the rich people. Oh, the black people are slaves and the red people are slaves. No, we're all slaves to rich people. Get that down straight. One of the richest people on the planet, $5 trillion to go into space for 10 minutes. That was one of the most evil things ever done to the planet Earth. Ever. He could have rebuilt half of the planet. And he had to have his cheap drill. He had to get his rocks off in space for 10 minutes. Someday he'll realize that when it's too late. It's already too late, but he'll realize it. Not when he wants to.
Oh, Bezos?
Yeah. You got his name right. I can't say it. I call him Bozo.
Yeah, he is a bozo, too.
The killing of Jesus brought down all the work he did, even though it had to happen. Because most people doubted Jesus after that. Everybody didn't get to see Jesus. No.
Most of his disciples didn't even understand what he was trying to teach.
When he died, they were all ready to leave. All of them. Mary had to pull them together and say, hey, wait. And then she actually brought them to the point where they could actually be with Jesus. All right. And that was through Mary Magdalene, not Mary, mother of God, Jesus. Sorry. No, she didn't do much except give birth to Jesus. No matter how it happened, she gave birth to Jesus. Okay. But that's all she did. She was always in the background. She wasn't a healer. She wasn't a psychic. She didn't do any psychic abilities. She's considered the highest in all Christian churches and stained glasses, you name it. But she did nothing. Mary Magdalene had his baby and had to teach all his knowledge to the rest of them, to all the disciples that didn't know anything. Some of them started catching on, but not the big close ones that were close to him. I mean, there's what, 12, including Mary, but Mary became the head person because she had the knowledge and had to teach them that. But that's not ever going to be written in the Bible. It's too corrupted, too far gone, and they're not going to bring it up because nobody's going to bring the truth out, and people don't care. I mean, I'm not a Christian no more. I don't consider myself a Christian, but I still respect Jesus as the most spiritual person ever to walk the planet. I met with him. I lived with him. Yes, he is and always will be. But will he come back?
That's
Why?
I tell you, one of the biggest problems with people is the brainwashed conception or belief that he's going to come back and save us all. Could you touch on that?
Let's dive into that real simple. All right. You're a sinner, people, okay? You're living in hell. So Jesus has to come back to hell to save all the sinners. For what reason?
Mm-hmm.
Do you follow what Jesus said the first time? No. You're going to reincarnate because you're still doing the same stupid things because you did not listen and you still don't. And Jesus is supposed to come back and take you to a better place? Did you learn morals? Did you understand God? Did you understand angels? Did you understand anything about the inner worlds? No. Alien said blah, blah, blah. I mean, you believe the bull, the stories, the programming. Aliens aren't here to help us. Oh, yes, they're good ones. What's a good alien? What did they do for mankind in the past 1,000 years, 10,000 years, last 50,000 years? Nothing. They destroyed Atlantis. The only time we were very equal to Jesus at that time. We all had 32 psychic abilities.
We had them and then we started killing.
We were programmed, as they started destroying Atlantis, the powers were taken away.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You can't use psychic abilities to kill people. Witchcraft, voodoo, Santeria, all of them use it the opposite way.
Yeah, that's a big
and their religions worldwide today. I mean, we bastardize just about everything we touch. And that's scary. It should be. All right. When they created the Bible, 16 people got together and said, let's create a Bible. Let's create a book that will control the people we want to control. All right. And when they did that, they picked 4 Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. But guess what, people? There were 40 Gospels. They didn't want Mary Magdalene's Gospel. Of course not. They didn't want Thomas's Gospel. No. The 2 people that lived and survived. I mean, I forgot to get into this. I got to get back to this before we get into that question again. All right. Who wrote anything? Do you know, out of all Jesus's followers, he only had 2 people that could write, and not his disciples? So who wrote those stories, people? When were they written? You can't write a biography of somebody unless you're living with them 24 hours. Who lived with them unless it was the people of the 12 disciples? That secret teaching, that's where the word secret teachings came out. Nobody knew what Jesus was really teaching his disciples, because Jesus didn't come out and teach the world psychic abilities, because they would have screwed us over and over then. Because mankind didn't learn spiritual awareness enough to even be protecting of themselves. And Satan had full control over them, which he still does. No, I'm protected. Really? How? When a virus comes knocking at your door, are you protected from it? Are your children protected from it? Is all your family protected from it? Why don't you just pray to get rid of it if you can? You can't! God doesn't play in this world, but God has his angels and deities that watch this planet and this lower realm. They make sure the things that happen have to happen. Karma, which is what we all have to deal with, is ours to pay. Jesus isn't going to come down, get a big garbage bag and throw everybody's karma in it and burn it. Not going to happen. Why? If you killed somebody, you killed a world of families that will not come here. That people want to protect men. It's always men, not women. Protect themselves. Why do you think women are always the ones more persecuted and called the liars when it comes to sexual abuse? Men protect themselves always. Men stick by men always. A man will protect 3 liars rather than helping a girl. I mean, when he's, I don't want to get into that. It's sick, pathetic, and a horrible thing that mankind accepts. And the laws they're creating and allowing, now they're taking away abortion rights and things. Well, there's a limit and awareness, which they don't have. They shouldn't be able to talk about it. No man should have any right to talk about what a woman has to go through. Ever. They don't have that right. But women can't fight. They're not strong enough. And men will push their bull over on top of them. Sure, they'll get a few women to agree with them. But women have their own rights to do. The same as you have your own right to follow, believe, and preach and pray and any of that in your own way, as long as you don't hurt other people. Well, you do it yourself, and your family is your choice because you're raising this family. You didn't have to give birth to him. I mean, it's not like the government making you give birth. But now they're playing cloning with aliens and humans, and I don't want to get into it. It's so pathetic and sick, and people think it's good. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're going to go into the robot. Now, let's get back to that question. I got so far pulled away from it. Okay. All right. You want to repeat it so everybody knows what it is?
Yeah, there's most people that I speak to have this belief that for some reason Jesus is going to come down and, take care and wipe away all this hardship. It's this weird brainwash belief that our actions and our responsibilities is for someone else to take care of, and that is certainly not the case.
Well, here's the thing, people. Jesus doesn't have to come back.
Exactly.
Why should he? All right. If this world was a loving planet, I mean, he still wouldn't need to have to come back because they would be aware enough to leave when they wanted to.
Look, I keep telling people, look what they did to him the first time. Why in the world would he come back again?
Oh, you better pull it up. Just type it online. I pulled it up because I always thought it was million, but it's trillion. 5 trillion. Pull it up right now. Go ahead. Yeah, it's scary. I mean, I don't want to talk about people like that. They have their problems. They will be here for a long period of time, and people will follow them. And that's their problem as well. All right. Now, these billionaires that donate $5 million for a politician. Why? Somebody donated $50 million to a politician. All right. Why? So when Jesus comes back, what's he got to look for? I would say look for one spiritual person. One. There was a movie about if they could prove that there was one spiritual person on this planet, God would save the world. And he had a hard time finding that person. But, do we have spiritual people? We have people that care with a little bit of compassion.
Yeah.
When you help one person, you're not helping the planet. I mean, when you say, I'm going to give this person a sandwich today, there's billions of children starving to death, and they're getting nothing. And if you think that just because you did that makes you spiritual, you're living in a cloud. Jesus would come back if he showed his power. You don't think government would try to take him out instantly? Because if he was here for real, he would eliminate government instantly. Today, nowadays, anyway.
Oh, Tommy, side note, it was 5.5 billion.
It was 5.5 billion. Oh, I meant billion. Oh, I said trillion. Sorry.
Billion is a lot of money.
Billion, yeah, billion, still a lot of money.
And billions a lot, but trillions.
That's what I meant. Yeah, sorry, I was wrong. I'm definitely wrong. I'm bad with the English language, people. Sorry about that.
No, you're
I had
good. That's why.
dyslexia, and I have.
So we got. That's why we got Richie to keep us straight here.
Cool. Thank you for that. I'm sorry. But again, what he could do with that money. So here's the thing. Jesus comes back. He starts walking the street, healing. We can't have him heal everybody. We'll be out of money tomorrow.
Yeah, the pharmaceutical industry is going to want him killed quickly.
They all will want him killed.
Yes.
Stock markets will crash. Everything will crash, and everything will change.
And just thinking about it, these days, like the second time, if he were to come back, he would die a lot faster because we'd just shoot him.
See, that's the thing, people. A lot of people, especially Christians, do not believe in reincarnation. They used to believe they go to hell. Mm-hmm. But see, here's the thing. When the Pope comes out and says hell doesn't exist, the head of the Christian Catholic movement says that, what are these people supposed to believe? Now I can kill somebody and I don't go to hell? What do you think it does to evil people? Telling them that hell doesn't exist. What kind of moron, what kind of sick person would do that?
It gives them a free pass, pretty much.
A free pass to do whatever you want.
Yep.
And do we need Jesus? Do we need God? Of course not. We can do whatever we want. That's why hell is where it is. It's on the bottom of the scale of the worlds Jesus taught about. When you get past the Aster plane, every plane you get closer to God, it gets 1,000 times more incredible than you could possibly ever imagine. Don't even try to imagine. You can't. Until you step out into that realm will you truly understand it. But until you do, you won't care about that. You think sitting by the ocean drinking a can of beer like the commercials and stuff is the greatest thing. Oh, I could smoke a marijuana joint here today and sit back and dream.
Yeah.
I could do peyote, ayahuasca, and hallucinate. And guess what? It ends. And where are you? Still here in hell. Dealing with drug addicts, rapists, murderers, liars, cheaters, and you name it. Mm-hmm. All those horrible words that exist here in high numbers. What makes me sick, which I just did a book on, I didn't get it edited yet, about rape and abuse. We're at the highest level ever in our history, and it's growing. And that should be scary. Because that's the most evil crime on this planet. Killing to a person versus being raped is two separate entities, because a child that gets raped has that their whole life, like Oprah does, always until the day she dies. You get killed, it's over. You start a new life. You're working on new karma already. Should you get killed rather than raped? Probably. Because you're going to suffer your whole life because of that. I know people don't want that kind of truth. That's horrible. That's horrible to think about. But it's reality. You're going to die. And you only have 125 years to do whatever you think you're going to do. No matter what pills you take and everything. As of right now, you will not live past that. I'm sure they're trying to change that right now. They want to make everybody live to 150, 200. Live like aliens do 500 years. To see what? See half of your family die? See all your children die? Is that what people want to see? Of course. I want to live forever. Watch the movie Highlander at the very end when he becomes God. The song is, the Queen sang it, Who Wants to Live Forever? Think about it. Think what you will see. You'll just see the destruction of mankind over and over and over. Because that's what hell is. That's why you need to learn that this isn't where you're supposed to be. Why do you think Jesus said, in my Father's mansion, not in my Father's hell, this is hell, in his mansion, not the bedroom, not the bathroom, the realms, crystal cities and all those things where these words aren't allowed to even go.
If you want to think about mansions, this realm would be like the dungeon.
Well, I think it's way worse than the dungeon. You'd have to be on a torture rack the whole time.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, yeah, for soul it is. Yeah.
okay, we destroyed the land, we destroyed the water, we destroyed the air. We destroy each other, and we think this is a beautiful place. We can make it better. Free energy. Is that going to help what people think and do? I mean, what people do in their bedrooms, one thing. What people do to when you go out and affect the world and other people, it becomes super karma. I know you might not believe in the word. It was created a long time ago by Hinduism. And it's a really important word which Jesus spoke about. And it's actually the part that you have to think about for yourself. Are you working off your karma from this life, your last life, the lifetime before that, and that, and that, and that? Why are you here right now? Why didn't you ascend already? Ascend, not ascension. Ascend into the next realm. I know why I did. I know all the reasons. I know why it's over. And I know all that for myself, which is what every soul should know for themselves. Because you don't need to come back here until you clear off that karma, which seems like most people don't want to do.
Nope.
I mean, the UFO world, when they start talking about Jesus, I would stick my hand through the phone and strangle them through the phone when they talk so ignorant. And then they got to relate everything to aliens. I mean, Billy Myers was one of the first people to do that. He was the first person in the UFO world releasing all these pictures of UFOs, but he wrote this 100-page, 100 prophecies that 89 of them came true. But in the interim, he went into a cave and pulled out the Talmud of Jamad, which was really the story of Judas, a fictional story of Judas, which he claims was written by Judas.
Do you know how Shauna's doing?
He's going to be on my show. That's all I can tell you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll say something about Sean real fast when I'm done. But yeah, when he came out with that book, Jesus was an alien. All right, you know, people say we were created by the Anunnaki, so that eliminates the idea of a God creating us. Why would you want to do that? Why would you accept that? Because you're ignorant. You don't want the truth. I'm sorry, I don't even know what words I can get away with anymore. YouTube blocked me already. They took my one video down. But I was talking about one thing which I won't talk about, and I didn't. But on the other hand, what kind of words can we actually say? You can't really. But, you know, I listened to these videos up and the way they attack Biden. I said anybody attacking Biden should be called a terrorist right now. Not giving them applause and putting T-shirts out and hats out about him. I mean, he's our president. And we have to deal with him for 4 years. I mean, unless he does something really stupid that we need to take him out. But I don't think anybody wants to do that because they'll be afraid they'll have a woman president. A woman that they don't like. So, you know, our system's so screwed up, but I want to get into it. It's complicated, it's bad, it's wrong. The whole money situation's a lie. Everything's twisted to keep us here, locked down, and it's only going to get worse, people. I'm sorry, I can't change that. I can only help you change where you're headed. Reincarnation's all right if that's all you want to do. Do what you do, and you'll reincarnate. Learn what spiritual means and try to become it. When you do, you leave this planet, people. You're not going to stay here. Spiritual people are not accepted among the angry den of creatures that are roaming.
Every soul's goal.
And with Mr. Lucifer saying, okay, this is what I want, people are too willing to give in to that. All right. People can't even teach their children anything about God, and that's sad.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, they can't teach themselves anything important about Jesus. Oh, you're going to be forgiven for whatever you do. Really? Is that an excuse to do things? Of course it is. They
Every
never
every
hurt.
parent, every parent that I know of, pretty much cusses and curses in front of their children. It's so sad to see.
You know, I never cursed. I was never a cursor in my whole life. I was maybe 6, 7. I had a bar of soap in my mouth because I said, I don't even know what I said. It was probably bastard or hell. I don't even know what I said, but I got a bar of soap in my mouth. I never cursed after that, ever again. I hate to be around curses. I hate comedians that have to curse to make themselves funny. Everything about it. Now, the F word, definitions to use the F word. And you can use it in almost any kind of a sentence. But that doesn't make it right.
No, no, it doesn't.
All right, people, we accept things that shouldn't be. We allow things that should not be. We change things that should be to not be. I mean, we're moving in the wrong direction. And if we don't fix it, which we're not doing too well right now, we're going to be in trouble. So when they talk about the stock market's crashing, everything going down, and we get locked down and all those things get worse again, are you ready? I mean, thinking you're going to save mankind from doing what we're doing is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because government's not going to tell you how much money they're spending yearly on a space program.
Just look at what's happening in Australia.
That's horrible.
It's horrible because and it's allowed to go on because people are not saying anything. They're not standing up.
You know, I mean, you got that going on. What happened in Hades going on at the same time? You got the worst storms ever hitting the planet.
Oh yeah, Ida just rolled through America.
And people want to say, well, oh, everything's okay.
Oh yeah, I love those people that say, "Oh, this is heaven on earth." Oh my gosh,
Yeah, you know, I said, your idea of heaven must be pretty lame. Your idea of God must be lame. Your idea of truth is not there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you wouldn't be saying that. Seriously. All right. I don't want to go into too much further because I wanted to get the simplest points out. If you want to understand Jesus, there's a lot better ways than believe what you read.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus doesn't have to come back to this planet. There's nobody he needs to help. Not at all. These people don't want it. Well, I live a religious life. And what's that mean? Well, I pray every day. To who? To God. What about what? About everything. Like what? Well, to keep my family okay, feed them, money, and everything that pertains to the physical reality. How about just praying, help me understand you more? A simple little sentence. It's not telling him to do anything. It's asking him to do the only thing that it will do when a person is ready for it.
Well, here's a concept. Stop asking for money and ask for understanding.
Right, exactly.
And then maybe, just maybe, you'll start moving in the right direction.
Well, the right direction to most people. All right.
And what I mean right direction is nothing human based. Right direction for soul.
So, here's the thing, people. I'm not going to get into too much more. If you stuck around, I'm glad. If not, if you felt anything good from this talk, send it to somebody you know. If not, do what you do with everything. Just chalk it down to tubes or erase it. Evaporate it. All right. But the truth will always be there. But the lies will cover it so you'll never see it. Unless you're ready to dig through the lies and pull it out, it's not going to pop out and say, this is the truth. But are you really ready for that? What I talked about is just one person. Buddha has his own things, what he went through, what he was bringing to this world. I mean, every one of them has their thing that they brought out. Sai Baba. I mean, what did they give the world? Love? Telling you each love each other? John Lennon, I'm not saying I guess I'll get into because he was my idol in that time frame. He was the one that could have created world peace. and he was close to doing it. All right. The government knew that. They did nothing but attack him the last 10 years of his life. They kept him trying to go to court. They kept him trying to get him out of the country. They kept trying to do all kinds of things to him and his son. Oh, no, well, I don't even want to talk about her, but she cared more about her son, John's second son, not his first son. But, even that, John loved her, did everything he could with her. He gave up and moved from the Beatles to be with her, and she can't sing, never could. So, we have this. Oh, what I wanted to say is John Lennon hated aliens. He said he saw them, but he was one of the few people that was actually abducted by an alien on a ship and given something. I'm not going to get into it now, but that's a fact and that's the truth. And I'm on the line. That's what he really did.
Yeah.
And the day he gave what he was given from the aliens, 2 weeks later he was killed in New York City. But that's where he gave away his object that he was given in New York City as well.
Would be cool to hold that, even for like a minute.
The person that has it will never release it. It's in his pocket always.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He won't let anybody analyze it or touch it. It's his connection to John, I guess. But it was John's connection to aliens, which John didn't want. But, people, you don't hear the truth. You don't hear the important truth ever, do you? Who actually killed John Lennon? Who killed Kennedy? Who killed Oswald? Who really were the people responsible, and why did they do it? Oh, they were just having a bad nightmare? No. The same as aliens with these experiences. Oh, I had a great experience. No, they didn't. You can't have a great experience in the physical world. Oh, here's a phrase. Let me see if I can get it right. If you have an incredible, happy life, it's going to end super sad. If you have a super horrible life, it's going to end super good. And the reason why you're moving into another space where you'll realize it's better. So if you had a really horrible life and you're letting go of that, you're moving into something better. You have this super great life, you're going to lose everything that you think is important, but then you're going to realize that's not what's really important.
Mm-hmm.
So people, it's always the opposite of what you think, feel, and believe. I'm sorry, it's kind of like that. I mean, this world isn't imbalanced. People want to believe it is. No, it's not. Science is in a certain way, but life isn't. And the way we live life is not in balance. So with that, people, if you stuck it out, I'm glad. Till next time, I am doing a real workshop real soon. At the end of this month, it's going to be about 4 days. I'm going to get into details of everything. If you're ready to let go of everything you think you know, it'll be a good place to go to. But if not, it's probably not where you want to go. It's only for people ready to move on beyond this reality, idea, and program. What soul is really here for and where it's really going to go. Not what you think it is, what you want it to be, what other people tell you it is. No, what it really is. Yeah. Like I said, soul only has one mission here. One little mission. Not hundreds, thousands, or even 20.
And the fact that there are more people coming into this realm than there are leaving is not a good sign.
Well, even with that being said, if we were real good people, we'd be able to make it work.
Well, yeah,
in a good way.
Just look at Atlantis. It was good.
It was good, and it was incredible, people. I was there, and it was the second most important life I ever had out of all my lifetimes. Because seeing people living like that without any bad things is incredible. And that's how it is when you get into the next realm, higher realm. So people, look for the truth. Look for moving forward. Try not to stay where you have your feet planted, because you're not going to grow anything other into a tree and that means you'll be here a lot longer. So with that, thanks for coming on, Sasha, and everybody out there. Please send this email to everybody you can if you want to. I mean, I'm not telling you to do it if you don't want to, but if you can, do. This workshop's going to be the last weekend of this month and the first weekend of the next month. And I promise you, you'll learn stuff in there as well. Till then, people, can't see it. I'm going to disappear.
There you go.
All right.
Well, thank you for your time as always, Tommy. Just want to give a shout out to Tommy and Richie for sticking through.
Well, thank you. Peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life. Hope you get it. Till next time.
All right. Take care.